Hey, welcome back. Welcome to On Your Mind podcast. So today, this was a highly requested video from you guys, and I'm also very eager to talk about it just because it's something that I am very passionate about, and it's very much grown over the years, and I just feel like it's so important to really know about this and just getting to know your gut. So we're going to be talking about gut health, the connections it has with our body, and also PCOS. So for my PCOS girlies, you're not alone. I also struggle with that on a daily basis. I know personally me, if my gut isn't feeling right, then I'm not feeling right. But before we do jump into this topic, let's go ahead and cue the intro music. So school is back in session. I'm so excited to talk about this, as I mentioned. Just kind of a brief introduction over how exactly my love and interest grew with gut health was, I know with me, I would make certain excuses for myself where, I would always feel fatigued. And I would mention, oh, that's normal. Like my body's just changing. It is what it is. And then I also noticed I would have like mood swings. I would be good one minute, but then something I would just feel not so great. And it's like, for what? I was perfectly fine. There's nothing to be upset about. So I would also just make excuse with that with my body is changing. It is what it is. My gut health journey didn't really start till I just would eat. And after every course meal, I would just feel so uncomfortable. And that's just kind of where my curiosity grew. I know me, when I get very curious about something, I always want to know why. The why to everything. And that's where I kind of started watching where I'm like, I never really thought about just cutting out gluten. Let's see what you're talking about. Let me keep an eye on it. Surely enough, after eating gluten or certain foods, I would get extremely uncomfortably bloated to where it would affect me, even the way I feel. So then obviously the energy I am giving off wasn't that great because I just wanted to go home, put some sweats on and relax. And that's why I want you guys to know the importance of really getting to know your gut. So really going over our digestive system and gut, that goes into our immune powerhouse. So basically what your immune powerhouse is your immune system, which is so important for the way we feel when we're feeling sick or ill or anything like that, because actually 70% of your immune system lives in your gut. Yes, that's correct. So imagine you not having a well gut, but you're always feeling sick, you're feeling ill. It has to do really big with your gut. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of this, but there is a term of having a gut brain connection. Those are big, just as much as muscle and mind connection is with working out. So when we have a healthy gut, it tends to kind of control our anxiety. It helps boost our mood. And that's just a big, important thing, with interactions, connections, and different things like that. Because if we're not feeling our best, are we really doing our best? Another reason why it's so important to have a healthy gut, it is our hormone helper. So when you have a healthy gut, it helps keep you in check and obviously not have our hormones so out of whack. Again, this was another reason how I knew I wasn't okay, was because my hormones were just everywhere. That would explain why I had different mood swings, just because of my hormones. So having a healthy gut helps regulate that and keep them in check. And lastly, another important reason of having a healthy gut is because it helps with your weight. So I don't know if any of you can relate with just having stubborn fat. I know with me, I would have it was hard to lose my love handles. It doesn't matter what I do or anything, my love handles, and I also had a stubborn fat under my belly that would just not go away. So just kind of helping out with your gut. So then that kind of helps with your metabolism and just kind of getting that going, which is so important when it comes to weight loss and your journey and fitness. Now, just like we talked about all the great stuff, yes, I do have to bring up the bad. So how do you know really if you have a bad gut? So there is a few different ways of kind of identifying if you have a bad gut. You don't have to have all of these. You may just have one, or or you may have a few. So one of the highest ways of knowing if you have a bad gut is your digestive system. So whether you're feeling very bloated, gas, irregular bowel movements, different things like that, constipation, those are all signs of having an unhealthy gut. And you kind of really have to pay attention to it to really know. Another way, and this is also a sign that I realized, was a food intolerance. So that just goes back to me kind of saying like I have a gluten sensitivity, different things like that. So when you're feeling uncomfortable whenever you eat or different signs like that, that is a sign of a bad gut. And just going overall, it would be skin problems, frequent infections or illnesses, unexplained weight changes, mood fluctuation, bad breath, and autoimmune conditions. So those are just a few ways of kind of getting to know if you have a bad gut or not. So having the connection with our gut as well as our hormones, I do want to talk about our gut-brain axis. And what that basically is, it links your gastrointestinal tract with your brain. And that right there is actual science. So imagine your brain and your gastrointestinal tract being connected. So when I think about that and actually take it in depth of what that is, I'm like, whoa. So I know this piece of information, it's science, it's there, and I don't actually take it to heart and put in the work to do that. I tend to feel very like, what am I doing? I'm the reason why I feel the way I feel, you know? And then we have the gut microbiome. What that produces is different neurotransmitters as well as different chemicals that releases that serotonin. So 90% of that is made there. And that's just another reason of how gut and our hormones are really connected. So that's just kind of an overview of gut health, the good, the bad, and just kind of getting to know it in general. And I do want to speak about PCOS because it's so important to know the connections between the two. And I know I get a lot of questions in regards to how did you know you had PCOS? What were the signs? And honestly, for the longest time, I did not know I had it. The way I even found out what PCOS was, I went to brunch with a friend and they asked me, do you have PCOS? And I was so confused. I'm like, whoa, like, what is that? That sounds serious. I don't know what that is. Are you diagnosing me with something? Like, what's going on here? And after that, I got so curious because I actually never knew I could grow hair on my face. And it isn't like crazy where I grow a beard or anything like that. Like, it's just like a hair here and a hair here that I have to pluck. And I never knew I had that. And it could have been I met them at a time where it was barely starting to grow or anything like that. But I'm like, wow, they really pay attention to detail because I didn't even notice that about myself. But so one way I really knew was my hair growth. I could grow hair. That's why I can grow a unibrow. I am a hairy girly. I'm not ashamed to say it. So when I would look at myself in the mirror, I noticed I could grow like strands of random hair on my chin. And that's where, again, me being I want to know why, I started digging into it. And that's where, bam, everything just came together. And I was like, I have PCOS. Of course, I didn't just self-diagnose with it and I'm running with it. I went to go see a healthcare provider. And the issue with that is my story is very much the same as all the other people of I went to go talk to a doctor. They tried to put me on birth control. They said I'm fine. And that was that. So that's basically what they did. And I did go ahead and get on birth control because I had irregular times of the month as well. So that was another sign was I had a regular time of the month where I could go 3 months without having one. And then out of nowhere, I'll have one and it'll last like 2 weeks. So that was another sign as well as my fatigueness. So that's just was that in general until I finally went to go see a healthcare specialist and they're like, you do have it. And I'm like, I know I did. I know I wasn't crazy. So I know with me in regards to PCOS and my gut health, the way it really did affect my life was, of course, me feeling bloated all the time, my irregular time of the month, my hormones were off. I always felt tired. I have, hair growth going on, as well as my cortisol level being off, which explains why I'm always anxious and stressed. So imagine if I never actually went and took the steps of taking my gut health serious and actually taking my health serious and getting tests done to see my levels and seeing if I have PCOS and everything like that. Like once I did, I swear I felt like I was reborn. So moving forward, I definitely want to give different tips and tricks in regards to helping out your gut health. If there's anything, I definitely want you guys to take care of your nutrition. I know you've heard that time and time again, but it's so important. Make sure you're getting your fiber, your pre and probiotic when it comes to your foods, whatever food you're eating, or even in regards to your supplements. I feel like those are the high 3 things that your body really needs in regards to your gut health and your nutrition. So yes, of course, getting your nutrients is so important, but so is lifestyle changes. And when I say lifestyle change, I don't mean to just change up your whole routine. You're gonna have to make some changes. So for me, when it came to PCOS, what I started doing was I actually started fasting. I'll eat my breakfast at 10, then I'll eat my lunch at 2, and then I'll have my dinner at 6. I don't eat past 7, but that's just kind of when it comes to fasting, I've noticed helped my gut so much and also my PCOS. So as we're on the topic of food, something else I started doing is I would walk for 10 minutes after a meal. This also helps with your digestive system and just walking it off. So I know once I started doing that, I stopped feeling as bloated and I stopped kind of feeling that very heavy feeling after having a meal. So that's something I also added into my routine. So in regards to stress management, something that I really recommend in regards to adding and changing into your routine is meditation. Being very grounded with yourself and just having that time for yourself and your thoughts and your life and processing everything around you and being in the moment, I feel like is so important when it comes to your gut health and your emotions and just feeling your best. And of course, who would I be without adding in physical activity? So for me, it's the gym, of course. I love the gym. That's my therapy of where I go. But this could also mean whether you go for a run, whether you try a new class out, Pilates, whether it's CrossFit, whatever it is for you, being physically active is a very good way for your stress, your hormones, for you to release that serotonin in your body. And just adding additional tiny tips in regards to your gut health, staying hydrated. Like, please drink your water for the love of God. It's so important in regards to your gut health, as well as just eating a balanced diet. That is also helpful. I know I sometimes look up on Pinterest, and not thanks to TikTok. You can also look up balanced diets, which makes it more easier. And I did write a list of a couple foods that I like to intake in regards to my gut health. So as far as it goes with fermented foods, I love yogurt. I feel like that's a good source of probiotic. I've come to love it now that I actually mix in different type of yogurts. Another way of kind of like whole grains is oats, quinoa. Those are 2 things I've come to love, in brown rice. You could also have some whole wheat to kind of help with that. And then when it comes to fruits and vegetables, it's just kind of your berries, your banana, anything that's leafy and green. And I know a few of you have also asked me, how do you even control your PCOS? Well, ta-da! Now you got your answer, because literally everything I said for gut health is everything I do for PCOS. That's just how connected they are. I know that's insane. And of course, I can't leave you guys hanging. I know a few of you have also asked me, what are some supplements I take for PCOS? Now, let me say, in regards to this, you don't need to have PCOS to take these. These are to help with the gut And as I mentioned, as they are connected, they just kind of help. So to help your gut, and what I do is I take a good probiotic, which of course that helps with like improve my digestive system in a whole. And then of course going in with the omega-3, that is your fish oil, which helps with inflammatory, which is something I needed for my gut. And then going in with the good vitamin D, I know having vitamin D improves insulin resistance. And then taking inositol, that one is good for insulin sensitivity and helps regulate actually your menstrual cycle. So that one's really good as well. Those are just the components I take on a daily. And yeah, you guys, that is it for this episode. I'm pretty sure this is going to be the longest episode I have, which I'm actually very happy about because I feel like one episode for gut health is not enough just because there's so much that goes into it. But I hope I broke it down to the most simplest form for you guys, and it's just kind of your guide to gut health and putting it in the most simplest of ways instead of using all these big terms and words in the science. But yeah, I hope this has inspired you to kind of start that journey of your gut health and realizing if you are on your fitness journey as well, this helps so much with it and understanding it. And also definitely comment down below. I am so curious to hear your guys' journey. What have you been through? What has been the tough? What have you found to help you in regards to everything? I definitely want to know. Other than that, you guys, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. I will see you guys next Tuesday, and don't forget to stay mindful. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.